Hello traders, and welcome to NinjaTrader Jumpstart online class, how to get started with NinjaTrader in no time flat. Now you should have downloaded and installed NinjaTrader and have your connection up and going. If you didn't do that, go ahead and reference the previous video to go ahead and get that set up. In this video, we're going to go ahead and jump right into NinjaTrader, and we're going to go from A to Z, show you everywhere to how to set up a chart, to ATM strategies, data series, and then all the way through how to set up and install a third-party tool into NinjaTrader. But first, before we begin, I must remind you that trading does carry significant risk, and all information in this video is provided for educational purposes only and does not offer or recommendation to trade future stocks, options, or Forex. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing that you want to go ahead and do is open up NinjaTrader, and then go to your connections and go ahead and connect your brokers. Make sure you have that green light here. And we'll come back to the control panel here at some point, but let's just go through the basic functions of NinjaTrader. You're going to go ahead and open up New, go to Chart. We're going to go ahead and select ES. And you have the data series that comes up with the ES. Now, under the data series here, you can see the price is based on the last, which is the most popular one. You can put on the ask or the bid here as well. You can do type, which is a minute chart. You have a lot of different charts here as well. The value is a 240, so it's a 240-minute chart, so it's a 4-hour chart. Go ahead and bump this down to a 30-minute chart here. Time frame, you can load it based on days, bars. Days is the most popular option. We want to look at 300 days to load. Now, this is an important function because if you have a third-party tool or any type of tool that takes a lot of data to go ahead and load, you want this on a shorter time frame as possible. So for instance, on some tools that has a lot of calculations in the background, you might want this on just 3 days back. So maybe on a 3-minute time frame or 1-minute time frame. A scalping chart, you'll put this on 1 to 3 days or 5 days back. The more days back that you go and load, it's going to take more data to go ahead and backfill. So if you have a tool that takes a lot of calculations, you want this to be like 3 to 5 days, 10 days maybe. On most tools, you can do 100, 200, 300, you can do 30 days back or 60 days back. It's really up to you. The end date is just wherever you want the end date to go. You can go ahead and click on here. You can say today, so it brings you to the current date. Trading hours. Now, if you are in a different part of the world or you trade different markets here, you can have all these. You have the CME, commodities, extended, ETH is extended time hours. And the RTH is real-time hours. So real-time is going to be the cash session, and the ETH is going to be extended session. You have Eurex, the German equity time frame, whatnot. You can go all the way down to the bottom, go to U.S. equities, again, extended time hours or real-time hours. Break at end of day, you can go ahead and leave that checked here as well. Chart style, candlestick, you can go ahead and choose box, hollow candlesticks, up to you. Bar width, you can go ahead and leave that the same. Candle body outline, this is all just cosmetics. We'll just go ahead and leave this the same for now. Visual, you're going to go ahead and leave all of this the same here as well. You don't want to touch any of this. Auto scale, just it's going to go ahead and scale according to price. Display data in data box, you want to go ahead and do that. So as you're going through, you can go ahead and see the high, low, close of a bar. Label panel, you want to leave that the same. Price marker, leave that as the color black. Scale justification is going to set it off to the right. Global draw objects, you want that on so you can see draw objects across different charts and windows. Trading hours break line, this might be set to on. I go ahead and set this off just by default. You can have this on all sessions, so every time there's a new trading session, it'll go ahead and print just a vertical faint line in the background. Change the color of that here as well. Under trades, just executions, I have do not plot, but you can have a markers only or text in markers. So if it's just markers only, it just shows you exactly, if you trade through NinjaTrader, it tells you exactly where your trades were. You can have text and marker there as well. Markers will show just a little tick there to show you exactly where you went long and short, and the text will go ahead and add text to that as well with the marker. You can go ahead and change the color of, for instance, a profitable trade would be green and an unprofitable one would be red. You can change the color of that and the color of the executions. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Now, if you have a setting that's always the same, let's say you always like to load 30-minute charts on 300 days back, and you like all these settings here, you can always go down to preset minute and go ahead and click on left click on Save, and then every time you open up a chart, our new chart here under Data Series or the control panel, it'll always load this by default. Go ahead and hit OK when you're done. And here we have the ES chart here, again on a 30-minute time frame. You'll notice a grid here in the background. So we'll go ahead and right-click and just talk about the properties. Right-click and go down to the properties of the chart. Some people do not like the grid lines here in the back, like I don't like them. Just go ahead and go to properties here. There's a lot of different settings here we won't really get into. But if you want to change like the background or anything like that, you can go ahead and do that here. A lot of different things you can go ahead and do. But not really going to help you get starting with traded very quickly, just kind of detail stuff. But I'll go ahead and go to the grid line and hit the drop down and make this not visible, as well as the vertical line. Make that not visible as well. I like that set. I'm going to go ahead and go to preset and save, so all the charts I load is the same thing, and go ahead and hit OK. And there you go. So a nice blank background here. Now, so we opened a chart. We talked about the different settings within the data series. Now let's go and talk about some of the things that you see here on the top. Now, what you see here on the left, this is a third-party add-on, so you will not have this. It'll just be, this margin will go completely to the left here. But these are just an add-on here for different drawing tools. You can go ahead and kind of a quick access for it. But that is not something that you'll see here on your chart. Now, what you will see here is this bar across the top. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some of these icons here. The chart style, you can go ahead and click on that and change to box, candlestick, line on close, cocky lines, point and figure. You can go ahead and change any of that here, make it line on close, mountain, whatever you like. Open, high, low, close, just the classic patterns here. Just bar patterns. Go ahead and go back to candlestick here. Moving over to the right, you see this pencil. This is going to be your drawing tool. Snap mode just means when you're drawing it, it'll kind of snap to a bar here. You can go ahead and disable that if you find that annoying. It's pretty not really intrusive or anything, so most people go ahead and leave it there. Stay in draw mode. So if you let's say you want to draw multiple lines here, you can go ahead and every time you click a line here, go ahead and stay in the draw mode and put another line there. So for instance, if I go ahead and stay in draw mode and I do a line, I can go ahead and do multiple lines. All right, that's really useful when you're doing charting work. Go ahead and delete that. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. So you can go ahead and just left click on the line and delete. Hit the delete button. You can left click and also right click on it and then remove. Left click and then right click and remove. Again, you can also, as I was doing the quick shortcut there, you can left click and then hit the delete key on your keyboard. Going back to the drawing tool, you can see you have a risk reward calculator there. You can region highlight X, so it'll highlight a region on the X axis. You also have the Y, so it can highlight a region on the Y axis. You have the line as I was drawing there. Ray just means it projects out to the right. Extended line, so you can have a line going to the left and the right here. Sorry about that. Arrow line, you can do that so you can actually have an arrow going into a certain area. Horizontal line, vertical lines, a path line. So for instance, you can go ahead and have something like this and have this going for however long that you like. Fibonacci retracements are here. Fibonacci extensions. Fibonacci time extensions. You'll see these shortcuts here on the right hand side. These are just shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts that you can use instead of coming back to this menu. So all your Fibonacci functions are here. Pitchfork, Gann fan, regression channels, trend channels, time cycles. You can create an ellipse, rectangle. So what this will do is go ahead and do something like that. Yours will be blue. This is just my custom version of that. You do rectangles here as well. Triangles, polygon. Order flow volume profile. If you did purchase that from NinjaTrader, you will have access to that. An arc. So you have an arc, something similar to that. You can go ahead and put text here on the chart wherever you like. So you can put intermediate low, for instance. Just hit enter when you're done. You can go ahead and move this text around wherever you like. chart marker. So you can go ahead and, for instance, put an arrow here. And let's say you can put a diamond here, whichever you like. And you have the path button down here as well. Now you can remove all the drawing objects that we just put on here just by left clicking here. You can also left click on the drawing objects and go to each one and set the properties of that as well. So for arrow up, for instance, you can go ahead and attach it. If you have multiple charts open, you'll see multiple charts here. So if you want to put this on every ES chart that you open up, you can go ahead and click all charts, or just keep it on this 30-minute one. You can go ahead and leave all of this the same. Arrow up is going to be the tag. You can change the tag name if you like. You can change the color of that, make it visible or not visible. You can actually, and under data here, you can actually say exactly where you want it to anchor. So you want it at this date and this time, or at this price, under anchor Y. But let's go ahead and go back and delete, remove all the drawing objects, and hit yes, and there you go. So if you hover over any of these tools here without clicking anything, you'll see that it gives you the name. So this one's Chart Style, Drawing Tools. You can zoom into the chart just by left clicking that, and then choose an area you want to zoom into. So let's say I want to zoom into this, and it'll bring a zoom into just this area of the chart. If I want to go ahead and zoom out, just left click. It'll bring me back to my original view. The arrow here is default, but if you want for instance, a crosshair to get an exact price here on the X and Y axis, you can do that. You can go to global. So what this will do is you have the crosshair here, but if you have another chart and you set that to global, then every time you move the price here or the cursor here on this chart, it'll automatically move on that chart as well. No time scroll. Well, it just means that you can go ahead and move the chart, or move the cursor here, and on the other chart, it won't actually move in time. It'll just move on the vertical axis. So it'll actually the vertical axis will actually stay static, and the horizontal axis will actually go up and down according to price. So that's if you have two charts. These two here, if you have two charts open at the same time, and when you move the cursor on one, it'll go ahead and move the crosshair on the other. We'll go ahead and leave that off. Show data box will actually, if you left click this, will show a little data box here, so you can go ahead and see the open, high, low, close. You can also, as a quick shortcut, hover over a bar and then hold down the middle, your scroll wheel on your mouse. It'll go ahead and give you a mini data box here. Data series, we'll just go ahead and left click, brings you back into the data series. You can go ahead and make any changes that you like. Under indicators here, if you have any indicators that you want to go ahead and load in, go ahead and do that. Just for instance, buy, sell, pressure, go ahead and load that in there. Make any adjustments that you like and hit OK when you're done to go ahead and load the tool in. If you have any strategies loaded, you can go ahead and do that here. We won't get into that in this video. And finally, over here is properties. So you can go into properties here, and again, adjust anything in the background. So you can adjust the right side margin here is 8, which means that there's 8 little points here before it gets to the edge of the chart here. You can go ahead and increase the width between the edge of the chart and the scale here on the right. Chart Trader, you can turn that on or off. I'll actually show you that here in a second. We actually skipped over that up here in the toolbar. I'll show you that here in just a second. You can actually trade right off the chart. Show date range, you can go ahead, I would leave that off here. And for the most part, you can go ahead and leave all this the same. You can change the chart background here if you like, any of the text, and so on and so forth. If you go to the right handle, or the right scale here, you can go ahead and left click and then drag, hold it down, and then make the chart bigger or smaller. You can also go to the scale down here in the bottom, and left click, hold it down, and then drag from left to right to scrunch up the chart. You can always hit this F button back to go ahead and restore it back to its fixed scale. Alright, so that pretty much gets you started here. Now this button is Chart Trader, and we'll actually get to that here in just a second. But how to change markets here. So let's say you want to go ahead and go to the NQ. So what you can go ahead and do is hit the drop down. Anything that was recent will be loaded here. It's any of your recent markets that you viewed. You can also have drop down menus. You go to futures here. And let's go ahead and click on the NQ contract. If I have it here, there we go. Just left click. It'll go ahead and load that market. You can also go ahead and just highlight this and then left click once again and go ahead and just type in ES here. You can also do that right here in the chart. So anywhere on the chart, I can go ahead and left click and then just go ahead and just freely type, for instance, Euro USD. Go ahead and bring up this menu here and go ahead and hit enter. And now I'm looking at the euro dollar. And again, you could do that again. Just left click anywhere in an open spot here on the chart. Go ahead and just type ES and then the contract dash 009-19. Hit enter and it gets you right back to that contract. If you're unsure of the contract or you want to look up a stock, for instance, go ahead and click the magnifying glass. And you can see you can search between CFDs, cryptocurrencies, Forex, futures, index, and stocks. And for instance, I want to go ahead and look up Apple. Go ahead and put in Apple here, or I can go ahead and put in just part of the name. And then you can see I have Apple here in the drop-down. Now, another function that you might find interesting, let's say I want to go ahead and compare the ES with a different market right here on the same chart, just maybe some chart analysis. Just go into data series here once again. All right, and in this one here, I'm going to go ahead and compare the ES with, let's see here, about the 10-year, so the ZN contract. Just go ahead and have it all right here in the data series. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And this is going to go ahead and load. And now, as you can see, I have the ES here in the top left-hand corner, the ZN here. So it's the ZN, the 10-year market down here, and this is the ES right here. So if you want to go ahead and compare charts, you can do multiple charts. So let's say I want to go ahead and put in the NQ for whatever reason and the 6J. Let's keep it simple there. So now I have 4 different markets that I can go ahead and look at here at this point. So I have the ZN, NQ, and the 6J. Now, if I want to go ahead and reorder any of these markets, if I go into data series, I'll just have to go in here and reorganize it here. So you can see ES is at the top, ZN, NQ, and 6J. So it's in the order as we have it here as applied. So you'd have to go ahead and just remove it and then reorder it, re-add the markets there if you'd like. You can go ahead and easily remove all of these here. Just go ahead by simply clicking on it and hitting remove and hit OK. And now we're back to our original screen. Now you'll notice that we have a tab down here down on the bottom and a plus button. Now if I hit that plus button, it'll bring up a data series here where I can go ahead and go through and let's say select the 6J here on a 1 minute, on a 5-day look back here. Just go ahead and hit OK. And it'll bring up the yen here at this point. So now I can go ahead and flip through, just left clicking each tab here on this one window with different time frames and whatever indicators and settings that I have here on the window. Now you can also go to, let's say I want to go ahead and duplicate, let's go ahead and close this tab. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that again. Just go ahead and hover over it and then hit that X and then hit yes. Now let's say that I want to go ahead and duplicate this market, and let's say I want not just a 30-minute chart, but a 1-minute chart. Go ahead and right click. You can see duplicate in new tab, which I'm going to go ahead and do, or in a new window. If I go into a new window here, again, it just duplicates it in just a new separate window. You can drag and drop and put it wherever you like. You can also right click and go into new window, or excuse me, new tab. It'll bring it up here, and you can go ahead and change it to a 1 minute. And as I did that, I'll show you how to do that once again. What I did is just left click on the chart and I hit 5M for 5 minute. You can also go to this drop down menu here and just simply click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can go ahead and whatever time frame that you like, second, range charts, tick charts, volume charts, monthly charts, week charts. You can go ahead and go into configure, and for the minute put your specific time frame. Let's say that you want to see a 240. I'm going to go ahead and hit add, keep the label the same. Say price based on 240 and go ahead and hit OK and OK again, and now I have 240 minute there. Simply left click and then there you go. Go back to 60 and so on and so forth. Now getting back to the multiple tabs, you'll notice that now I can go ahead and go back and forth between the two. So I have a 30 and a 60-minute chart here. I can go ahead and close the tab again just by clicking. If I hover over the tab here, or this one, you can see the X. Just left click and hit yes. I'll go ahead and close the tab and we're back to our original window. Now let's go ahead and go through Chart Trader now. This is this button here. If I hover over it, it says Chart Trader. Go ahead and left click. And you'll have a couple of different options here. You can keep it off. You can turn Chart Trader on or keep it hidden. Chart Trader is right here, and just go ahead and go over it real quick. Let's bring this out here just a touch. Just changing that margin there. Just go ahead and left click and then drag to make it bigger. Chart Trader allows you to trade on the chart directly. So very important that you have everything set up here accordingly to go ahead and trade with Chart Trader. Really easy to go ahead and use. Probably the most popular trading function within NinjaTrader. But let's go ahead and talk about some of these settings here. So very important, first things first, is under account. Make sure that you have it set to SIM or any other type of account here. Make sure it's set to the right account that you want the trade to be executed in. All right, so let's say I want to go ahead and go long the market. You have buy market, so you buy at the market price. You can sell at the market price. You can buy at the ask or the offer price. You can sell at the ask price. You can buy on the bid or sell on the bid. You can go ahead and reverse your position, or you can go ahead and close your entire position. So I'm going to go ahead and buy the market, and you'll notice that I have the market order there. It says 1, meaning I'm long 1 contract. And you'll see that it's at 0. So it's a flat position right now, down 25 cents. If I hover my mouse over this black area here, it tells me my open profit and loss in terms of points. Now, if I want to go ahead and change it from points to, let's say, ticks, if I left click on here, you can see it changes to dollar amount now, goes to percentage, it goes to pips here, or it can go back to points. If I left click one more time, now it's in terms of ticks. So you can go ahead and cycle through it and find which one works for you. I like the ticks version here. Now let's say I want to go ahead now and reverse this position or close it. Let's go ahead and start with that. Let's say I want to go ahead and close this position. I can go to close and hit close, and it takes me out. Let's say I want to go ahead and go long here once again, but now I want to go ahead and reverse the position. Now that it's important to note that you will be charged commission twice because you're going to be closing a trade and opening a trade simultaneously. So let's say I want to go ahead and hit reverse. I'm long. Now it's red, telling me that I'm short. You can see over here, it tells me that I'm short 1 contract at this price. This is my average entry price. Now under here, you can see that the orders that I place here are going to be day orders. You can put them as day, good till cancel, or good till a certain date. Again, the account, we talked about that. Make sure you have the right account set up. Order quantity, so if you want to go in with multiple contracts, let's go ahead and close this. I want to go ahead and I want to go into this market with 3 contracts. I'm going to go ahead and hit buy market here once again. And now I am long 3 contracts here. Now it's important to note that when you close a position, you will close the entire position here. And let's say you want to go ahead and scale out of a contract. So let's say I'm long 3 contracts here, and I want to go ahead and take a contract off. I'm going to go to order quantity, hit 1, and sell at market. Now I have 2 contracts that I'm long here at this point. So important note that people do get confused with, if you hit close, it closes out the entire position. So I have 1 order quantity here set to 1. I'm going to go ahead and hit close, and it takes me out of the whole position and not just that 1 contract. So make sure you have that, and you can see it's flat, and no entry here, and you can see that you have a flat position. Now going to ATM strategy, it says it's set to none. Now this is going to be an important one, and we'll just show you the basics here. But this makes things really easy to go ahead and set your stop and target. So if I left click, I have a couple different strategies here, and just for example reasons, I'm going to go ahead and put this strategy in. This is a 10 tick stop with a 10 tick target. I'm going to go ahead and buy market here with 3 contracts. And you can see that, let's go ahead and go down to a 5-minute. Now I have my contract set up with its 3 contracts that I'm long. I have my take profit in and my stop placed in here as well. At this point, it makes it really easy to go ahead and move orders around because I can just left click and just drag where I want this order to be. So I can just drag it down and left click again. I can bring my stop up, left click that, and drag my order there. Really simple, really easy to go ahead and do. Again, the same thing. If I want to go ahead and take a contract out, I go ahead and set order quantity. I'm long here in the contract. I'm going to go ahead and go to sell market. And all my contracts here, my orders automatically updates here as well. Really easy to go ahead and do. The lightning bolt just means that this ATM strategy, or automated trade management strategy, is active and functioning here on the chart. Let me go ahead and close this out, and I'll show you how to set that up. Really easy to do. Just go to the drop down, go ahead and hit custom. Order quantity, go ahead and set however many contracts that you want to go ahead and normally enter the market with. Let's just say it's 3. You want to set the parameter type to ticks. If you're trading Forex, you can go ahead and set it to pips. Stop loss, I'm going to go ahead and set that to 10. So whatever my stop loss will be, it's going to be in terms of ticks. So it's going to be 10 ticks. And my profit is going to be 10 ticks as well. Go ahead and save as template. Have 10 by 10 set up there. You can call it whatever you like. Go ahead and hit save. And then hit OK. And now this contract, or this strategy will be loaded right there. Just go ahead and simply click on that. You have 3 contracts here, and it's a 10 by 10. And you can go ahead and go long, go short the market, whatever you like, and your orders will automatically be placed. Now you do have this X here. If you cancel these orders, it'll go ahead and take out both of those orders. And you'll notice one thing, if you right click now, you do have buy limit, buy market if touched, or sell stop market. So let's say under the market here, I want to go ahead and manually put my orders in. I'm going to go under the market and do right click and do sell stop market. And above the market here, I'm going to right click and do a buy stop market. Actually, excuse me about that. I'm going to do a sell limit up here. Now at this point, I have my target in here and my sell stop here as well. Again, I can go ahead and hit X. And another popular question is, can you do OCO? And absolutely you can. So I'm along 3 contracts here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to OCO order. And now if I right click again, you'll see it has a check mark there. So what this is going to do is every time I place an order here in the market, I'm going to go ahead and right click and put sell stop. I'm going to right click above the market and do sell limit. Now these are OCO orders, meaning one cancel others, or one cancels the other. So if one gets canceled, the other one will automatically get canceled. So if an order gets filled, the other one will automatically get filled. If I go ahead and hit X, it'll go ahead and take both orders out. Now if you don't like that OCO function, go ahead and right click on the order pane here and hit OCO order, and that'll take it out. Now if you right click, every order in there will be manually by itself. Now you had another function in ChartTrader here. If I go to hidden, it'll go ahead and hide the ChartTrader, but it'll keep your order, your position here on the screen. And you can also still right click and put orders here into the market. Now if I go to ChartTrader off, it'll go ahead and take my position and orders away from the market. And if you notice, if I right click, I can't place any orders here in the market. So you have the option of having ChartTrader, the window pane, open here. You can also keep it hidden where you still have the orders here as well. Let's go ahead and open it back up, close this position, and then turn it back off. Now before we leave here completely, if you want to go ahead and set up a trade without an ATM strategy, just click the drop down menu and go to none, and just simply go ahead and enter the market, and there'll be no ATM strategy there. Now let's go ahead and go through the control panel here, and you can see all the orders got filled up. You can see orders, executions here under the tabs, strategies, any open positions here, accounts, and log here. So let's go ahead and start on this. We'll keep it on the orders pane here. Green light just means that you're connected. Under the new menu here, you can have the basic entry, Forex Pro entry, order ticket, or Super DOM here. You can go ahead and go through any alerts log. So if you set up audible alerts, you can go ahead and see that. You can set up a chart like we did. Depth chart, the Forex board. I'll show that for Forex folks. You can have a Forex board. You can see, go ahead and go long or short. And all your order entry tools are here. ATM strategies and whatnot. All right, hot list analyzer level 2, market analyzer. Now you may use this from time to time based on your charts or your any indicators that you set up. Some indicators can be put on market analyzer so you can watch multiple markets all at the same time. All right, you have a market watch, any news, strategy analyzer. You can have trade performance and account data down here. and an editor and output strategy builder more for the coders. Under tools, you have instruments and instrument lists. So you can see all the instruments here in the market, all different markets. You can go to instrument list and set up your specific list that you like to see here in the charts. Database management. Now you will need to come here from time to time just to roll over contracts here. So you just go to the database here. You can see the current expiry and the new expiry here, and just make sure this is checked and then hit rollover. And it says it gives you the warning here that rolling over futures instruments will update the expiry of the instruments across all instruments lists and windows using the instruments on all open workspaces. And if you have a trade open, it will not roll over that trade, so you'll have to do that manually. Go ahead and hit no for now. Everything else in here you can go ahead and leave the same. If you have any issues with NinjaTrader, you can always work with them on it. They might direct you to this database page. Hotkeys. Now, if you like to set up hotkeys, as I do, under keyboard here, you can go ahead and go through and set up custom hotkeys for NinjaTrader. Historical data. Now, if you want to set up market replay is just a simulated feed of a previous day that you can go ahead and actually trade. You would need to go to market replay here, go to load, get market replay data, and then whatever market that you want to go ahead and just trade through a simulation, go ahead and check that off here, and then whichever date that you want to go ahead and trade, and then go ahead and click on download. And I'll go ahead and download that data here. You can see I have some for the ES, and you can see the dates that I have loaded. All right, that's under historical data. All right, commissions, risk, trading hours, import or export. We're going to talk about third-party tools here in just a second, so we'll leave that here, and we'll come back to it. Global simulation mode. Now this is kind of the safety for the NinjaTrader. So global simulation mode, when this is checked, just means that you will be in simulation mode across the charts, meaning that you can't trade in a live account. If you do have a live account that you'd like to trade, you have to go ahead and turn this off and take that safety off of the platform so you can go ahead and trade. Under options here, I'll show you one thing that's actually that I use that's really important. Under general, confirm on window or tab close, I would go ahead and check that off because there's going to be a lot of times you accidentally close out a window when you didn't mean to. You maybe put a bunch of charts, a bunch of indicators together, and you accidentally hit that X tab and closed it out. What this will do is if I hit close on a window here, let's say I have a chart, let's go and pull up a chart, and I want to close this. It'll bring up this window to say, are you sure you want to close this window? No. There's a lot of times I accidentally hit that X there and it closes out a window and you get very frustrated because you have to go ahead now and reload all the tools and chart and set it up the way you want it. So make sure you have that checked there. The rest here is just preferences. Language is set to English. You can go ahead and change that here if you like. If you like more of a dark mode here, you can go ahead and go to dark mode. It'll change everything to more of a black background. Set your time zone here. This is just sounds here, so you can go ahead and change any of those sounds here that you like. Under trading, you can have confirm order placement here, start in global simulation mode all the time. Every time you start the charts here, you can use order entry hotkeys here if you like. You can check all these off here. For calculations, this is just for order placement, and for your account, you can use FIFO for position averaging or last price for P&L. For simulator, you don't have to worry about that. Auto close position, so you can go ahead and close the position at all your positions at a certain time in any market down here if you want to go ahead and do that. Strategies, if you just have any specific strategies for coders set up, you can go ahead and do that. You don't have to worry about that for the most part. Automated trade interface, don't have to worry about that so much. Market data, you don't have to worry about that so much either. All right, so this is all under tools, under options here. Workspaces, so you can have different workspaces set up. I have a Forex one, another Forex one, futures one, morning one, market replay. I highly suggest if you do market replay, open up its own workspace and then close out all the other workspace to make sure it runs efficiently. The green just means that this is the current workspace that is open. The gray just means that they're open in the background for quick retrieval. So for instance, if I want to go to replay, I just go ahead and left click on that one. It'll bring up replay pretty quickly. Under Workspaces, you'll notice that I can go ahead and save, update a new workspace. So if I make any changes, go ahead and click Save. If I want to save as a different name, I can go ahead and do that. You can close that workspace or remove the workspace from NinjaTrader entirely. Under Connections, we went over this in the previous video, so you can go ahead and set that up. Under Help, you can go ahead and find the help guide here. Remote support, email support from NinjaTrader, third-party licensing information, license key information here as well, or just about gives you the latest version of NinjaTrader, or gives you the current version that you have actually loaded. All right, and finally, let's go ahead and talk about how to set up third-party tools. Now, there's a couple different ways. If you get emailed and it's a zip file, go ahead and take that zip file and make sure you download it and it's in your download folder. You want to go to Tools and go to Import, go to NinjaScript add-on and left-click. It'll go ahead and bring up your Windows Explorer. And you'll notice that we have quite a few zip files here from Ninjacators. You can go ahead and left-click on any of the Ninjacators here, add the zip files, and just double-click, and it'll go ahead and start the install process, the import process. And at that point, I would go ahead, once it's done, you install or you load in that zip file, go ahead and close down NinjaTrader and then open it up again, and then go ahead and load it onto a chart. Now, you may have another file that ends in it's not a zip file, but it's a .msi file. That is a file that you need to download. I would recommend putting it on your desktop and then just double clicking and letting it go through the install process like you would for a new program that you downloaded to your computer. So for instance, what you can go ahead and do is drag the file here, and it looks very similar to this. Just go ahead and double click. It'll bring up a window, and then just go ahead and hit next, and then it'll walk you through step by step to go ahead and install it. Now, what's very important is if you have the zip files, that you go ahead and import it through the Tools and NinjaScript add-on. If you have an MSI file where you need to download it and go through the Windows installer version, make sure that NinjaTrader is closed down first. That's a must. Close down NinjaTrader and then go ahead and start the installation process. And then once it's done, go ahead and reopen NinjaTrader at that point. All right. Now, if you'd like a free indicator to go ahead and load into NinjaTrader, you can go ahead and sign up for Ninjacators Indicator of the Month Club. What you can go ahead and do is open up your web page and go to Ninjacators.com. And then scroll all the way down to the Indicator of the Month Club. Go ahead and left click there. All right, go ahead and put your name and email here. And then what that means is you're going to be included now in the Indicator of the Month Club, getting a new free indicator on a monthly basis, all for free. Very easy to download and set up. As you can see, if you have the zip file, you want to just go ahead and import it into NinjaTrader. If you have an MSI file, you download it and actually put it through the Windows installer process. But just put your name and email, and you'll get a free indicator month, a $97 value every single month. So other than that, you should be all set. We started talking about how to open up a chart, different settings within the data series, chart trader, how to manipulate your chart, do different things with it, set up an ATM strategy, go through the control panel, and how to install third-party files. So I hope you found that helpful, and happy trading.